What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Zach. Listen to me, and listen to me really good. Because I feel like a lot of people need to hear this. And I feel like it will help a lot of people as well. Because I know a lot of people, including myself even, have went through and go through so many rough days. You go through so many rough days, and you think, man, how many more rough days am I going to go through? Let me tell you something, and I hope this helps and clears things up and sheds a light for you and says, okay, look, I went through it, but that doesn't mean I'm always going to go through it. And my point to that, saying that, is this: your life is like a book. Sometimes, for some of us, it can be a bigger book than others. And I mean, it's life. So, yes, it's always going to be a big book. Now, in the book, you're going to have good chapters and you're going to have bad chapters, rough chapters, if you will. And right now, at this point right now, you may be going through something rough. You might be going through rough situation after rough situation after rough situation. But just because you're going through rough situations right now, doesn't mean that you're always going to go through rough situations. I mean, yeah, I 100% can understand that. It feels like when you're going through so many rough things that you're always gonna go through something rough. Trust me, I know that 100%. I know that feeling 100%. Why do I know that feeling? Because I've also been there. You know, it's just like I've told you. I've been through it. I've had the bullied almost 4 times. Judge, from from women, as far as like dating or relationships. You know, that plus either that or even working somewhere or whatever the case may be. So I've been there, and that's one reason why I talk about this, because I've been there, and I know a lot of people go through that. Some people might not say it, but they go through it. So with that said, I need you to keep going. I need you to keep being you, keep smiling, because just because you might be at a rough page in your book right now doesn't mean that you're always going to be on that rough page. Doesn't mean that just because that one page in that book is rough doesn't mean your whole book is going to be a rough book. You're just on that rough page right now. And it's okay to turn the page, because your next page could very well be the game changer. the next page could very well be the page that you've been waiting on. And like I said, for me, personally, I've just been one that's had 36 years of crap. 36 years of heartbreak, judgment, the whole 9 yards. Because there's a lot of people out there who thought, he's sitting down. Easy target. Well, 100% true. I am sitting down. But I'm not an easy target. I've got a voice. And I let my voice be heard. And that's one thing I want to tell you. You have a voice. Let your voice always be heard. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people who might not like what you say or do. And that's okay. Because there's going to be a lot of people out there that hear what you say and do, and they're going to love it. You have people out there that's going to be ride or die. And you can count me in on that one when I say ride or die. And I know that means, always being there. And again, I know for a fact, that I haven't posted, every day, here on YouTube. Like I said, some of that is just trying to find the right comment or the right content, to, in other words, to put things together, because like I said, that's one thing that I love doing is being able to motivate, inspire. And try to help people through anything that you go through. Like I said, there's some situations, actually more than some, there's a lot of things that I may not have been through that you have went through. But in that case, it's one of those that I will put myself in your shoes, and I will put myself in your shoes. In other words, I will try to see things how you see it. I will try to see your situations as you see your situations. And give you the advice on how I would handle that situations. So with that said, keep being you. Keep smiling and let nothing hold you back. Let nothing and no one hold you back. And as I've said before, yes, you're going to piss a lot of people off when you start doing, when you start doing awesome. And you already are doing awesome. Better yet, let me say it this way. When you start making improvements, more and more improvements on things, a lot of people are not going to like it. That's going to piss a lot of people off. And I say that because so many expect you just to, stay down. That so many, saw you all fall down and they expected you to stay down. Well, as I said, your life is like a book. And like I said, there's some things that are some of us have, you know, more chapters than others. And that's okay. Um, with that said, I said because a lot of people, go through, some people go through more than others. I'll put it that way. Um, Again, we only know someone's name, not their story. But we all have a 100% different, but 100% true story about us. And yes, I know some chapters in that story. I know some chapters in your book can be scary. I know that. Trust me, I know that. Because I've been there before as well. I've been through that as well. And some of the things that I tell you that I've been through, or pretty much all the things that I told you that I've been through, what I'm trying to do is say, okay, look, I've been through this, but now, guess what? I'm gonna come back through these situations, with a smile, just to pull you out of those situations. So things that you're going through, I've already been through, or still somewhat going through. But always remember this, like I said in the beginning, your life is like a book. And each page of that book is different. Say, for example, you have a 10-page book. I'll just give you an example. A 10-page book, you might have 5 pages that are not the best. And that's 100% okay. Go through those 5 pages. And then on that fifth page of that book, things might turn around real fast. I mean, real fast. Whereas you can go from, this really hasn't been the best book, but look where we are now. It's not been the best book. But now you're at that 5th page, and suddenly things turned around for you. To where that 5th page onto the 10th page, those are the best. Those are your best chapters. So just because you're going through something rough right now, or like I said, for me it's been 36 years that I went through heartbreak. I went through a lot of judgment, but that doesn't mean that I'm always going to go through judgment or through heartbreak. And like I said, that's all been because I've got a wheelchair. Some people see that I have a wheelchair and think you know, they think, we can say whatever. He won't notice, you know. And that's also true. 100% true. Because like I said, I've been called fake. I've been called a lot of things. And fake was one that I remember. Because I remember that day, because as soon as that they turned me down and I go to leave where I was at, I could see point at me and call me fake. Again, that was one rough chapter that I went through. Because I've dealt with it, you know. I mean, I dealt with those, you know, that situation, you know, with judgment many times. And I've been, you know, I've gotten lied to. That same situation, I got lied to, telling me how that's not true. They didn't say it, but then admitted to it. But that, like I said, that's part of what I went through. That's, you know, that's one scenario. But your life is like a book. Like I said, you may start that book and start out with rough chapters. You know, things aren't going the best for you. But then you may get to that certain chapter, and from that certain chapter for the rest of the book, guess what? You may get to that certain chapter where things turn around for you, and at that certain chapter, things turn around, and guess what? That you went from rough, having all these rough days, to not having the best days. So with that said, again, keep being you, and let nothing or no one hold you back. I'm proud of you. I love y'all. I appreciate every person that has commented, shared, liked, all of my subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I hope what I do, I hope that it helps you. Because and again, that's why I do this. Because I love to help people. That's how I was born and raised. So keep being you. And let nothing or no one hold you back. Let's get it.